Good morning, everybody. Cooking, cutting up, keeping it real. Just kitchen chat. I thought I would come live and just chat for a minute and see how everybody is out there. I know here we had terribly bad weather yesterday, almost 3 inches of rain, winds at 50 miles an hour, 30 to 50 miles an hour. We had power outages, and we didn't lose power here. We had no cable and no internet, but we never lost power. But a lot of people did. And it was one of those crazy, crazy storms. You could hear the wind outside and, of course, see the trees and going back and forth. And it was just a mess. And I think Janet is on here, and I'm going to see if I can figure out how to bring her live with us side by side. Let's see. Talk about, hey, Janet, can you hear me?
It worked. You found the button.
Wait a minute. I can't hear you. Hold on. All right. My volume is up.
Okay. Can you hear me now? No. Well, let's see if I get this. Microphone's on. See if any of the people commenting can hear me.
Let's see. That came through here in Mississippi. We were talking about the weather. I can barely hear you.
All right.
But I kind of feel like it's because my phone's on or something.
You just turn your microphone off.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear us both. Thanks, Susie.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Susie says she can hear us both. Okay.
Awesome. You know what? We've been trying to do this, since the days of Sweet Tater coming on live with you. And then we always thought the issue was on my end and maybe it wasn't offered in Canada. And then finally I did some deep dives and found the answer and where Lisa needed to push the button to let me on. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody.
Mm-hmm. So yes, today in Nova Scotia, we are getting probably the same storm because a lot of the systems that pass through North Carolina come up the eastern seaboard. And it started with snow. The schools are canceled, but then it's going to become a lot of rain and a huge amount of wind. So lots of businesses are closed today.
Yeah, they did the same thing here yesterday. And I understand because of the busing here, they were more concerned about having buses on the streets with all that rain and all that wind. Mm-hmm. So they canceled schools in our district yesterday as well. Right. And I totally get that. But I was actually was coming live after I've exercised, and Janet and I talk about that quite a bit.
Look, I try to use Lisa as my motivator.
Well, listen, I'm really good at this first of the year, and then by about March, I start getting back into my bad habits. So my goal for this year, not a resolution, but a goal for this year is to keep it going. Good morning, Opa. Good morning. I actually, Janet encouraged me as well when I went for my physical back in September to talk to my doctor about my concerns about weight gain and menopause and all those things that we have to talk to our doctors about at age 50 plus. And when my doctor mentioned the word pre-diabetic to me, good morning, Debbie. When my doctor mentioned pre-diabetic to me, I thought, okay, you got to get a little more serious about your health care, personal health care. So that's when I started cutting way back, watching my sugar intake, watching carbohydrate intake, increasing protein. And I took the advice of my doctor and sought out a weight and wellness doctor who specializes in that. And I have gone to that. It's called Weight and Wellness, and it's in Greensboro. Anyway, and they talk to you. They do all kinds of blood work, all the blood panels, and talk to you about your wellness overall, your blood work, your A1C, everything. And so they reinforced a diet of high protein, low carb. It reminds me a lot of what I learned when I was doing Weight Watchers, which is, again, high protein, low carb, fruits and vegetables. And my biggest temptation is sweets.
Yes.
So I have to keep the sweets out of the house or I'm going to eat them. I know that's my trigger. And so I actually dumped a whole half of the red velvet cake in the garbage can after Christmas. It was a hard thing to do, but I did do it because I know myself, I knew I would be in here snacking on that. So I wanted to share that with the viewers because I think, through this blog, I've learned so much about other people
Hmm.
and the struggles that they go through.
Right.
And if we're honest with one another, we can, talk about the struggles of weight loss
Well,
and what's good.
I find it always motivating when you and I are working together and then these topics come up. It's like having a partnership in the real world where you have a walking buddy or
Yeah.
someone to run things by and what are you doing, and then you can kind of high five each other like when you've done something good for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're 53 and I'm turning 61, and I think everybody gets to this age where you really have to be paying attention to your wellness. And
Yes.
I always use this kind of saying that to treat yourself means to treat yourself well and to treat yourself to wellness. And so trying to live kind of an 80% do what you're supposed to be doing, 20%
Yeah.
cross over into the things that you make you not feel deprived. I think that's the way to go. And also tapping into whatever services that you can find that can support your knowledge and what you're doing to make you act, get active and do what they're suggesting. So sometimes those are things that are free online.
Yes.
You don't have to pay any money. You can find all those YouTube videos for exercise, like you were mentioning the other day. You can find all kinds of healthy food options. Mental wellness is equally important,
Yes.
to have the right attitude and
Yes.
to get yourself to go from knowledge to actually putting things into play. And then sometimes people have benefits that they can tap into to get services out in the community, and then others can pay amounts to go get those services. So I'm really fortunate as a retired teacher to maintain the same benefits I had when I was working. And I have quite a team of professionals that I seek out for all kinds of aches and pains and diabetic needs, etc.
Right.
And if it wasn't for all those different resources and putting them all together, I mean, I fall off the wagon and I got to get back up on, like that kind of thing all the time. It's a lifelong journey to
I do too.
feel. Yeah, and you never even know sometimes how poorly you feel until you start choosing healthier, and then you realize, oh, I have so much more energy and I sleep so much better and my skin is better. And it's a huge impact, sometimes even just the smallest change.
Yes, yes. Well, and somebody asked where I got the mug. The mug came from Crystal King Pottery, just
Right.
FYI. Um, the other thing I will add to that is when I do an exercise, and this morning, I've done my exercise video, it makes me feel empowered and stronger. And the rest of the day, it makes me behave a little more as far as what I'm eating, because in my
Hmm.
mind, I'm thinking, you've already exercised,
Hmm.
like don't blow it.
Yeah, if you do that earlier in the day, it's nothing can interfere. You got it checked off your list.
Yeah.
Some of the exercises that I do are the simplest effort, no sweat things, because we have to be thinking about our flexibility,
Yes.
our alignment, our posture. And I've been working lately, I shift what my goals are all the time, but lately it's been about getting this head of mine to sit back in place, getting my chin tucked down, and squeezing together the shoulder blades at the back. I call them my chicken wings. Because I don't want that hump forming on the upper back or continuing to form. And a lot of that can be fixed just through correcting your posture throughout the day. And sometimes I associate it with, oh, I'm going to go get a drink of water now. And while I'm getting my water, I'm going to stand there and do that simple reset of my posture. And it activates those muscles but it's not like I'm breaking a sweat or anything. I just remind myself to sit myself correctly. And even just standing in the archway of the door and stretching my arms up and back and around and just getting myself in a different position. In particular, working in tech all the time, you want to get up every 15 minutes and change how your body is set.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that too in my own self, especially doing dental hygiene work, because the posture of working on a patient is arms forward and down and neck down. And I've had, neck, back, and shoulder issues that took me out of the profession full time. And now I'm doing just fill-in work. So some
Right.
weeks I work one day, some weeks I work 2 days.
Yes. And you
Anyway,
and I have that in common, because from my technology work
yes,
at school, it's resulted in permanent damage to my neck. And so I
yes,
always have to be aware.
yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And awareness is probably the first real step. I was telling Janet when I heard the term pre-diabetic, I almost allowed myself to be depressed about it, because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give up what I love to do, which is cook and eat. And so I had to kind of get that in my well house for a couple of days. And
Hmm.
I talked to Janet a couple times about it. And then when I go to the grocery store, I'm on the outside aisle
Yeah.
more than I am on the
Around the
inside
periphery.
aisle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, don't get
Away.
me wrong. I still have to cook for my family. And so I still have to think either last thing at night before I go to bed to lay out whatever meat I'm going to have for the next day out of the
Mhm.
freezer, or I have to think about it first thing in the morning to make sure I have what I need to make the evening meal. And I think we all struggle with that to a degree. My
Yes.
mom said in jest the other day, she said, think about how many years you have to do that with a family,
Right.
that you have to
Yeah.
start thinking about what are we going to eat today. All
Hmm.
of us have to think about what we're going to eat for ourselves,
Hmm.
but we also have to think, if we have a family, what are we going to
Yes.
fix that everyone will like.
Mhm.
So that's always a challenge for me.
Yeah, my journey with diabetes started with two parents, and both being diabetic, and then six of us brothers and sisters, and all six of us have it. So we have the mutated gene for it. But I started testing to find out if I had it when I was in my 20s, and by the time I was 25, I knew I was going to be on that path. I was very tiny, but it really wasn't lifestyle. It was just, as you age and maybe put on more weight and go through menopause, you're probably going to be, I mean, all the odds were stacked
Right.
that I was going to be. And I too found that it was really depressing to learn about the shift and what I wasn't going to be able to be eating all the time at free will. But you know what, I have found so much positivity in the journey that I've been on, because when you're eating nice, clean, healthy food and really tasting the flavors of the items themselves, rather than a bunch of sauces and sweetness added in, you start to have a different appreciation, and your taste buds dance again. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Pam Burgess. Hey, Pam. Pam said, it's hard when my husband is picky and would rather stay with meat and potatoes.
Right.
And Pam, I share that with you. My husband and boys, and Spencer, of course, still lives here, they would rather have meat and potatoes too. Here's what I've done that's helped me. I have bought like a second green and kept it in the fridge. Like this week, I bought spinach. And so, like tonight for dinner, I'm going to do some type of chicken, and I'm going to do a pasta for them, which is probably going to be macaroni and cheese. And then I'm going to do spinach for myself and a salad, and skip the macaroni and cheese, or either just have one spoonful of it, not a full helping.
Right.
That has helped me. Just like last night, I fixed hamburger steak in the oven on a rack so that it's not sitting in the grease and all that.
Hmm.
And I baked a potato for both of them, and I had a salad. Was I full? Absolutely, I was. But for
Yeah.
me, it's not about being full, it's about wanting that satisfaction of eating what I want to eat. So it's definitely something I have to really think about.
Yeah. that's, it's one thing to get educated about it. It's another thing to quiet the mind from
Yes.
those desires or replace those desires with something that's not food related.
Yes.
What else could make me happy in this moment that
Yes.
isn't food? Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I
Yeah.
have gone to bed earlier, brush my teeth, put my Invisalign in, and go to bed. Now I might not go to sleep. I might read or I might
Mm-hmm.
watch TV, but I'm not in the kitchen. I'm not, my house is designed that you go through the kitchen for just about everything. So that temptation, of going into the kitchen and getting something to eat, I've had to really mind over matter for that. But
It
since
is. That's
September,
exactly
I'm
what it
down
is.
almost
It's
19
it's
pounds. So that
that's amazing.
motivates me to continue.
Yeah, that's to be congratulated. 19 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel good about it. I just want to keep at it, keep chipping
Mm-hmm.
away. But I thought it
Yeah.
was a great topic for the page because I think there's many people that struggle with it, whether they're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or not at all. They just want to lose some weight, want to tone up, want to be healthier.
Right.
It's hard. The struggle is real.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised in the South where we ate potatoes and meat with gravy and biscuits and or cornbread and all those things, and that's how I learned to cook as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean on the page that I won't be cooking some of that stuff, but I will be doing it in a limited way.
Well, it opens up new opportunities too for you to share what you're eating, even if it's just something you're preparing for your lunch for yourself. We do have a healthy playlist with a lot of recipes on it
Yes.
because you've certainly chosen well for yourself at times before. And yeah, I made a soup this week in the crock pot, and it was so simple. It was like the root vegetables, like turnip and parsnips and carrots and whatnot, but the broth was so flavorful, and it was like a low fat, low salt, no salt that I put in it. And when I heat that up and eat it, there's no potato in it, there's no super starchy vegetable, and I just feel so satiated. Like, it's tasty, it's
Yeah.
filling. And yeah, so sometimes it's just find something that really makes you feel like you're eating something homey and hearty and whatnot. And I go to my nutritionist tomorrow. I see a nutritionist every 3 months if I'm on schedule, and we'll have all these chats tomorrow. She always asks me about the page. And I've got all that documented. That's my big thing. I have to document because I carb count in order to know how to inject my
Right.
insulin. And my numbers the last 4 days have been excellent. And a lot of that's thanks to you, Lisa, because we share these chats together and we influence each other.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this about the actual 1.0 Happy Walking, because I actually made a little cheat sheet for the live that I wanted to make sure I wanted to cover these things.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy that. And it's 31 minutes and it's on YouTube. And it's fast walking and variations of walking.
And
And
other
I do
movements,
sweat. As you can see, I haven't done
mixed
my
in.
hair this morning. This is straight out of the bed, devotion, coffee, breakfast, and then workout. So, but it does get your heart rate up, and I do feel better about my day if I go ahead and get that done first thing. If I don't get it done in the morning, chances are I won't get it done. So it's called 1.0 Happy Walking, and it's on YouTube. But there's a gazillion of them on YouTube that you can choose from for your body type and for your needs. And like, there's another lady that I do standing yoga, and she has a chair and she does standing yoga. So, and I've tried a lot of them. I've tried Rick Coffee, which is a dance thing. I've done chair yoga. I've tried, what's that other one?
The one where you dance to the music around the room.
Oh, yeah, Body Groove, which I like that too. But it's just about movement and not sitting all day, which I've never been somebody that sits all day. I'm usually tasking And
Mhm.
if I'm not tasking, then I will relax and read a book or whatever. And now that I'm in book club, that holds me accountable,
There's a
to
whole
make sure I'm
there's
reading.
a whole series of exercises too that have to do with those physio colorful rubber bands that you get at a physio
Yes,
appointment, and there are lots of things designed for in your chair and even in your lazy boy comfy chair
right,
during the commercial breaks if you're watching a show or something.
right.
Like everything is out there that you
Yeah,
can tap into. Yeah,
yeah. More so than ever before. So
yeah.
you can find something that you like and do that. I also know Janet and I are going to be working together today on the page, and the cookbook is done and has been sent to Julie Patulli. So I'm excited about that being completed, and then we can release it for the page. So
I was
be
so
watching for that.
excited. Yeah, I was so excited last night when that email came in from Julie because she included, and I don't know if you realize this yet, Lisa, or you're going to figure it out when we meet later, but she included 2 sample photos from pages of the book. And I was just like, "Wow," the
Oh,
colors, and
cool.
it looks beautiful. Yeah.
So we'll see
So,
it come to life.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we figured out how to bring you on. We're going to
Yeah.
have to figure out, put this on our list, the volume.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure about the volume. Like I can barely hear you.
Well, I remember when you would do these with Lauren, with Sweet Tater, and one of the people had to have earbuds in.
Oh, you're right.
Hmm.
You are
Now,
right.
we're not getting any feedback, but I wonder if
Right.
that's why you can't hear me very well.
Right. 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 Well, it has definitely caused me to be a more active
Yeah.
listener for these few minutes.
I just want to say that I really love these comments that are coming up. We'll get a chance to read those more carefully afterwards. But even the other day when you were asking for suggestions, there was lots of good
Yes.
feedback that was coming in. So we appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. And, everybody has their own path and their own journey, and there's no judgment either way. But I always like to share what I'm doing, especially if it's working. And, it encourages me for people on the page to say things that are encouraging, like you can do it, keep at it, that kind of thing. So, anyway, I'm going to close for now. I'm going to finish my coffee and maybe wet my hair and dry it because it's a hot mess all over my head, just in case I have to step out of the house today, which I'm not anticipating doing that, but you never know. Anyway, Janet, thanks for coming on live, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks for following the page with Cook and Cut Up, Keep It Real. We enjoy having you here, and Opa says we can do it together. Yeah, I mean,
That's the
everybody
whole
has
thing.
different.
Like we are a community that who support one another on here.
Yes,
And so when we share the real part of life, we get ideas from each other and
absolutely.
can motivate each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk soon, Janet. I'll be giving you a call
All
soon.
right.
Bye, guys. Have a good
Yeah.
day.